I will have you pick 3 numbers, and then those numbers will correspond to a question, and that is where we begin.
I'm gonna go for 4.
There is a zombie outbreak on the set of Yellowjackets. You could pick 2 co-stars to team up with. Who do you pick that'll give you the best chance of surviving?
Kevin and Courtney, because she's tall. She's so tall. She can help me get to the places I need to go.
Wow, that's a really smart answer. And why Kevin?
Kevin, just because he's strong and he's also one of my best friends. And I feel like maybe I'm wrong on this, but I feel like if he knew it would help me, he'd be like, go Sam, save yourself. And I'd be like, no, okay, bye.
All right, what is your second number?
My second number is 1.
If you could guest star on the TV show of your choice, what show would you pick and why?
There's so many good ones. I mean, right now, okay, so it depends. It depends on like the mood I'm in. But like if we're in a happy mood, we're gonna go for Ted Lasso. But The Last of Us, I mean, I gotta go for it. Speaking of zombies.
I've asked that question to a number of people recently, and a lot of them are picking The Last of Us, and I don't blame them.
You know, as an actor too, they give really good guest spots. Like I want a whole episode revolving around me and my lover, you know?
What is your last number?
I'll go for 8.
Can you give me 1 audition high, but then also 1 audition low you experienced, and tell me what you learned from that low that you could apply to future auditions?
An audition high was when I was younger. I auditioned for this film and the producer came out and like grabbed me and was like, you were so good and we love you for the role, but like we just feel like you're a bit too young, because my character was supposed to have a crush on Cuba Gooding Jr. And they were like, you know, we don't know how that's gonna look. And I looked at him because I was just such a little brave little gal. And I looked at him and I was like, okay, but have you seen the movie My Girl? I was like, she's got a crush on the teacher and it's innocent. And I'm like, I don't know, 10 or 11 saying this. And I booked the part. I like talked myself into the role. And so we did a film together called Hero Wanted. Yeah, and I got to do that with Ray Liotta as well. And so, yeah, it was a really fun time. And then audition low. I've had quite a few lows in my career, but one of the lows was I was auditioning for a very popular kids film. I won't say what it was. And I went in and auditioned, and the casting director yelled at me. He screamed at me. He cursed at me. He was like, I can't believe that I'm such a bad effing casting director, that we can't hire somebody who's good because all the girls we keep calling in suck. And yeah, after that, I don't think I've gone in front of him again, because I left that audition being like, I never want to see that person again. And so, yeah.
I don't even know how to respond to something like that. That absolutely enrages me.
My coping mechanisms is just to smile through it. But yeah, I think at that point, I think I was like 12 years old. So yeah.
Oh, that is so incredibly wrong. I will never unhear that. You could smile through it, but then do exactly what you did and never audition in front of that casting director ever again.
Yeah. I lost some probably big stuff because of it, but I'm like, I'd rather just not, because that's not the kind of people I want to work with. So
that casting director doesn't deserve you.
Yeah, agreed.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back for a brand new edition of Collider Ladies Night. This one is for one of my favorite shows out there right now. And I feel like it's difficult to say this, but also easy, because I love all of you guys so much. But Young Misty is one of my favorite elements of the show, and I get to talk to Samantha Hanratty right now. The whole ensemble, though, is exceptional. I still can't get over how good you all are in this.
It's crazy. I feel so honored to be with this incredible cast.
You are super young. You decide you want to become a professional actor. At that time, what did you think was step one to actually building a career as an actor? And now, having done it, would you actually give that piece of advice to someone else who's first starting out?
I mean, I was 2 when I told my mom that I wanted to be on stage and TV. And she was like, I didn't even know you knew how to talk. Like, what are you doing in here? You know, like, she's like, go watch Barney. And so I think for me, it was just it looks like playing pretend and having fun. And I still think it's playing pretend and having fun for the majority of it. I think that a big part of me, the big shift happened when I was probably like 15, 16, because I didn't work for like 2 years. And I auditioned a bunch and it just didn't work. And it was the first time that I really had to work hard for this career. Like, I think that for so long I was really lucky and I had kind of like this natural talent that I just relied on. But I never really took it super seriously. And then it was kind of, I was at a point in my life where it was like, is this really what I want to do? Do I want to go to regular school and, go to college and like do that path? Or do I want to like give it my all and like really go hard and, take acting classes and work on the craft? And I chose the craft side of things. And it just fueled my love for this industry. And I think now I just know how much hard work goes into it, but it pays off so much more when you get those few yeses that you're really looking for, when you've had a little bit more to struggle with.
I'm ruining my roadmap with this follow-up, but just recently I covered a movie that had a writer's block component, so came up with like an actor's block question. So given what you just said there, whether it's with Misty or any character you've played, have you ever experienced like actor's writer's block with a scene where you couldn't access the character's headspace or justify a decision they made? And then how did you overcome that and bring it to screen in a way that felt true to you?
I was a little nervous with when Misty goes in season 1 to touch Ben Scott's little private area. I was nervous about that at first, just because, I really had to go from the curiosity aspect of it than being a predator. And thankfully it didn't go further than what the writers had written, which I appreciate a lot. But I was nervous because I found out about it before I had read it. So I didn't know how far it went. So I was just really worried that, there's a fine line there for her. Everybody should just always, consent is important. We all know that, but it's very, very important. And it's something that I believe for everyone. I think that was something I was a little bit worried about, but I feel that, it was played in a way that made me feel a little bit okay about it. It was more of just a full on, like, she's never seen this, what is this kind of thing? And thankfully things were stopped before they got too far.
Going back now to some of your very earliest TV experiences, because you had a whole bunch of, guest starring, one episode appearances on a bunch of like really popular shows. I think I read Charm, Drake and Josh, CSI, which feels like a rite of passage. Of all of those earliest opportunities, which one would you say, I guess, made the biggest impression on you in terms of figuring out the types of stories you want to tell and the types of on-set experiences you wanted to have moving forward?
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's a really good question. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's so interesting because I have had so many like little, like one pieces. And I think every job I do, I grab a lot that I can from it. But I think it was more recently, I guess it was, time is flying by so fast. So I guess it wasn't that recent, but I think How to Get Away with Murder was a big one because it was just such an intense role. It was somebody who was, once again, you can call her crazy. And just working beside Viola Davis for, the week that I was on set, I was just like, I'm around the people I aspire to, one day have a fraction of their, talent and drive. And, it was just, the whole experience was inspiring on its own. Especially there was a moment where I was supposed to be crying and there were people that were talking during the scene. I think there was just like some crew that didn't know we were filming that were talking. And it was just so nice because I'm really bad at advocating for myself. So Viola was like, hold on. She was like, hold on, hun. Like, and she was like, we need silence. Like, she needs to be respected. And like, she didn't do it in any way that came off mean. It was fully just like, we need to respect each other and be here for each other. And I just was like, oh my God, like Viola Davis has my back. And it just felt really good and really cool. And I think that the reason, like, she did that, and now I feel like I advocate for other actors that I work with all the time, because she like basically showed me that that's the right thing to do, and I appreciate that tremendously.
Your extreme good came in the form of Yellowjackets, which is just like such an incredibly special show. Going back to the very beginning of that process, I had read that you were originally asked to audition for Natalie. And just because that made me curious, how did your take on that character differ from what Sophie wound up delivering in the final version of the show?
I mean, there is no other Sophie Thatcher. She breathes like this character, and she's incredible. So I mean, I can't even touch what she's got going on. But yeah, I definitely think I'm being totally honest, I think I misread it, because I think I kind of went for more of like a goth approach than I did this like cool, like grungy 90s girl. Like I feel like I just went in with like a black zip up hoodie, and I like had it over with like dark, eye makeup, and was kind of just like, like more of like this, like, I don't care attitude that like had just like this, like almost forced darkness, that just, I'm not Natalie, and that's totally fine. And she's amazing. And it's so weird when you like audition for a different character, and then you see like how somebody else does it, and you're like, yes. Because there's other times where you see it and you're like, really? That's what they went with, But this was definitely a win for our show having Sophie Thatcher.
A win for both of you. I seriously can't imagine a better pairing for Misty than you and Christina Ricci. But before I even get to working with Christina and all that, what was it like when you did hear back and they said to you, how about Misty instead? Had you ever considered, your connectivity to that role, or did that come completely out of the blue?
If I'm being totally honest, I was like, who? Pilot, she's such a small role that like, I feel like I even overlooked her the first time I read the script, which is so interesting, because there's that last beat that's such like a iconic moment. But I think I was focused on Natalie. So when I was reading it, I was so focused in on that I was like, who is that? And then I had to like reread things and kind of go through it. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I mean, I could be totally wrong, and I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm like, I don't even know if, our writers knew what they were looking for with Misty. Like, I don't really know if anybody had like a clear vision of what this character was going to like fully look like and bring. And, like, I think they had an idea, but I think I came in and was kind of like wrecking that idea a little bit. Because I mean, I came and auditioned like 5 times. Like, it was not like I came in and they were like, that's Misty, I think I brought this like chaotic, crazy energy that they were like, okay, what are we going to do with this girl?
So at this point, we've seen like a little bit of Misty's past pre-plane crash, but whether it's something that's canon in the show or not, are there any backstory details that you've come up with on your own that we might not see or hear about in the actual show, but we could feel informing your performance and justifying her decisions?
Totally. Yeah. I was all about the background work of like I said, like who she is, why she does what she does. What was her childhood like? What were her parents like? All that. And so I talked about it with the writers when we first started. And I basically was like, we kind of, I feel like nothing was ever confirmed nor denied, but there was kind of this generalization of Misty's parents are probably in the medical field, one or both. That's probably why she's probably alone quite a bit. And that's also why she knows so much about the human body, and probably why she has this kind of interest in a lot of the medical side of things. And I have this whole vision of young Misty, like kind of like looking through books and finding just like these books with very graphic images, and her being like, wow, you know what I mean? Like finding just such a fascination with it. Whereas most kids would go, she's just like, okay, cool, and yeah, and I think that there's scenes that I have in my head that like never are going to happen in the show, but like I have this one like snippet of just an idea of her like barely like starting to go through puberty, being in the locker room and just like staring at everybody else, and her like just looking in a way that you're not supposed to look, and be like, and not even acknowledging that it's inappropriate. And like, just having those moments of like, how she must make other people feel helps me get into the mind frame of like when she does realize that somebody is grossed out by her, how self-conscious that can feel and how vulnerable that can feel, and not wanting to make people feel uncomfortable, but just her presence does. And just, there's just little things like that. And I have this idea of just, seeing some of the girls use like a lip gloss. And in my head, like I have this whole like, childhood thing of her like saving up to buy that lip gloss and going and, and having that lip gloss and everybody's not looking and she's like putting it on and like, like feeling like, oh my gosh, like I'm pretty like them. And you know what I mean? And just these little moments that help me understand her a little bit, if that makes sense.
Here's a Ben question for you. I think this was season 1, episode 5. After Misty poisons Ben and he lies to her about having feelings for her, let's say he hadn't done that, he hadn't lied and had been honest in the moment, what do you think she would have done next? Do you think she would have gone too far and ultimately poisoned him to the point of killing him?
That's such a good question. I think that Ben being gay probably saved his life from Misty. That's what I think. I think that it depends on also where she's at in the moment. Like, I think that if she's already like really enraged and then somebody says something that might, do something, then I think she's capable of things differently than when she's more calm. But yeah, I honestly can't tell you in the moment of filming the scene. I think I'm keeping it as fragile as, like if things go south, like nobody is going to embarrass me. You know what I mean? And then when things don't go south, I'm like, oh, like, yeah, I love you too.
You brought up Misty's bestie, and this is another what if type question, but how do you think she would be doing if she hadn't formed that relationship with Crystal? Would it have been a situation where the other girls like pushing her away and not trusting her ultimately would have made her snap if she didn't have her?
I mean, honestly, if she wouldn't have Crystal and the way things have been going with Mari, I feel like Mari would not be here anymore. If I'm being totally honest, I think she would have snapped and either Misty would have died because she would have snapped and everyone would have been like, you're too crazy, you need to go. Or like something bad would have happened because I think like even episode 1 of season 2, it's like, she's so fragile. And so like, I think that Misty thought with pointing out, Jackie, not doing the prayer thing and kind of tying in with this whole like Lottie cult thing, that she would have been able to have some more power than what she has. And I think that everybody would have been a bit in trouble if Crystal hadn't come and swooped in with her sweet spirit.
I would believe that. All right, bringing up Lottie now. So we actually hear a couple of characters like flat out explain how they feel about what Lottie is up to, but not so much with Misty. So it was making me wonder, like, what do you think her answer to that would have been at the end of season 1 in terms of how she feels about Lottie and what she's starting to do? And then do you think that answer has evolved or changed at all at the start of season 2?
I think that Misty doesn't believe in any of it, but that is the first one to make it seem like she does. It reminds me of like, I used to be involved in this church back in the day. And it was like the people that, had their eyes closed and their hands in the air. And it was like the gospel was coming through them. And like, don't get me wrong, everyone has their different stuff. And like, I think that's beautiful if that's a genuine feeling that's going on. But I know for a lot of people, it was like, oh, that's what other people are doing, so I'm going to do that too. And, oh, right. Oh, you feel it. Yeah, I feel it. And, it's a sense of belonging. And I think for Misty, it's like, she sees an opportunity, she sees power, and she's like, all right, this is where I'm going to slither on in. But I don't believe that she believes in this like earthy wilderness stuff. I think Samantha believes in it more than Misty does. And yeah, I don't think that she really believes in it. I think she just sees it as an opportunity to hopefully manipulate in the future.
I'm obsessed with Yellowjackets. I meant what I said. You're exceptional in the show. Congratulations on season 2.
You're killing me. You're so sweet. Thank